If you're a Jets fan, you're used to your team having the occasional blip on the radar of a successful season or two, and then fading off into the oblivion of the abyss of the NFL basement. That's kind of the cycle. Several years of suck, a year or two where they're kind of good or pretty good, and then right back to sucking again. And you just kind of feel like the redheaded stepchild of the NFL in a lot of ways, and a lot of that makes sense. So when you got into this year's NFL draft, and there you are, the Browns are number one. They're going to take Baker Mayfield when all is said and done, even though there's thoughts that it could be Josh Allen. There's thoughts that it could be Sam Darnold. It ultimately ends up being Baker Mayfield. Here's a situation, once again, where your team's traded up from 6 to 3, which was kind of puzzling to a lot of people, knowing that potentially 2 quarterbacks could go ahead of the Jets, and that ultimately they were trading up to get the third choice of quarterbacks. And what's really weird is a lot of people still believe that that might have been Baker Mayfield, and if it was, he ended up going number 1 overall. The Jets got scooped by the Cleveland Browns in that case. But here they are picking 3, and Sam Darnold doesn't go number 1. But they've got to see what the New York Giants do. Talk about redheaded stepchild. Here's the New York team that plays in New Jersey that people actually give a crap about. The New York team that plays in New Jersey that has a long, proud history and tradition of winning championships and being relevant in the biggest media market in the country. The New York Giants, who matter, have stars, all of these things that the Jets don't have going for them. You're still talking about Broadway Joe, damn 50 years after the fact, and he ain't walking through that door unless your name's Susie Colbert and he wants to kiss the shit out of you. But here you are, the New York Giants, pick number 2, and they take Saquon Barkley. It's like nirvana for Jets fans. It's like ecstasy. It's like they can't possibly screw this up. They can't Jets it up even if they want to Jets it up. Sam Darnold is on the board. He has to be the guy. And the New York Jets, with the 3rd overall pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, take Sam Darnold from USC. The heir apparent. The face of the franchise for many years to come. And Jets fans are ecstatic and beside themselves with joy, as they should be. Because for an organization that's had so many dumb decision makers in charge and done so many things, to finally have something work out in a way you didn't really ever anticipate it actually working out, has to feel like a gift from the football gods. And now, when you think about it, you bring in Sam Darnold, you sign Teddy Bridgewater in free agency to a 1-year deal, you've got a reliable veteran backup type of guy like Josh McCown in the fold who could start for you a little bit in a pinch. The Jets quarterback situation isn't that bad. The Jets quarterback situation is actually kind of good. The Jets quarterback situation is one that other teams in the league would like to have. An established veteran who's okay with being a backup and loves teaching young quarterbacks. You've got a guy in Bridgewater who you could bring in. He could potentially play. He's got some upside and talent him damn self. Worst case scenario, he's a guy that you could potentially get something for in the trade market. And the guy that could be the face of your franchise for 10, 15, 20 years to come. Not a lot of teams have that in the fold, and the Jets do. It's kind of a position of strength for them right now. Teams should actually be a little bit envious of this. But now that brings us to the decision for the Jets and who they're going to start at quarterback week 1 and beyond in this 2018 regular season. And look, you're going to hear about Bridgewater is good. Bridgewater can play. I do not disagree with any of those assessments. Some trouble maybe staying healthy, but I'm rooting for Teddy. I would love to see Teddy get an opportunity. I would love for Teddy Bridgewater to go on and have a lengthy career as an at least somewhat successful NFL starting quarterback. I would love to see it, and I hope it happens, and I still believe deep down in the cackles of my heart that it's going to happen someday. But it doesn't need to happen with the Jets in 2018. Play him and then what? He plays well and you don't play the rookie, or he doesn't play well and you should have played the rookie anyways, or he plays well for a little bit but then he gets hurt and then you can't trade him because he's injured the rest of the damn year? Just doesn't make any sense to me. Josh McCown, you know what you have. Nice bridge guy for a couple of games at this stage of his career. Guy that will know your system, will be a great leader in the locker room, a great mentor to a young quarterback, and has no business being your starting quarterback at this stage of his career and at this time in the Jets organization's history. This is very simple. This whole mindset of sitting rookie quarterbacks is best for them is stupid and outdated and needs to go the hell away. You ultimately lucked into Sam Darnold with the 3rd overall pick. You ultimately took Sam Darnold because you believed him to be the guy. You hoped him to be the guy. You think he can be the guy. And if that is the case, which you would assume it to be since you drafted him 3rd overall, and you do not have any options on the roster that are so clearly superior or outstanding to him that it makes sense for him to sit, watch, and learn from somebody better, then at this particular moment in time, the only solution, the only answer, the only option for the Jets is for Sam Darnold to be their week 1 starter, period. Sure, Sam Darnold's coming into a situation with a young team, not a ton of talent on offense, not a ton of experience himself in college. You're looking at him, concerns about the decision-making, concerns about arm strength. There are concerns about his game. But this comes down just like to the real world. Classroom training is nice. Side-by-sides and observing and watching are nice. Ultimately, the best way you're going to learn is actually going out there and trying to apply the craft and actually do it your damn self. That's what it's all about. That's the only way you truly get better. And without somebody else that's clearly better on the roster, he needs to sit. If he was taken by somebody like the Giants and you said, okay, Eli's won a couple of rings. He's got history and pedigree there. You might think he's overrated, but at this stage of his career even, he would still be clearly better than Sam Darnold in 2018. Then it makes sense for a Sam Darnold to sit behind Eli Manning. You don't have that with Josh McCown. You don't have that with Teddy Bridgewater. You have no real viable reason to start one of those other two over the rookie quarterback. Because if they're here and he's somewhere in here, he's not that far off and his upside and growth potential is much larger, then you have to let him start to figure it out and figure it out now. You could design ways in your scheme to protect him. You could design ways to minimize the risk. You could design ways to minimize the thought that he has to put into everything. But the bottom line is he must be that dude. The Jets need that franchise quarterback, the one that Mark Sanchez wasn't ultimately the guy. They need Sam Darnold to be that guy. And the best way to find out if he's going to be that guy or not is to start him week 1. If he has some growing pains, great, who cares? Better to learn him now and get him the fuck out of the way when you're not a real championship contending team, so that way he'll be over him when you hope someday you've built a championship team around him. This is not hard to figure out, especially in the Jets' case. You start Sam Darnold. You start Sam Darnold now. You make a statement for your team and your organization, and you say, this is our guy, and we believe in him, and we're going to build around him, period. You did all that suck for Sam stuff. It kind of backfired, but then you took the backdoor way to still ultimately make it happen. Start Sam Darnold and start him week 1, Todd Bowles. The decision is easy.